Laya Healthcare, looking after you always. Proud sponsors of Real Health with Karl Henry.
Welcome to Real Health with me, Karl Henry, in association with Laya Healthcare. Folks, today's episode, it's really interesting. It's all about one change. What I'm asking you to do is make one simple change each week to improve your health. We're going to have a look at lots of different areas of health, from sleep to food to movement, and just giving you ideas for simple changes that you can make that we know from experience, from chatting to guests over the course of the last 300 episodes here on Real Health, will make a difference to your health. And by asking you to do one simple thing, it's so easy that you can't not do it. Sometimes when it comes to making health changes and habit changes, we try to do too much, too soon, too quickly, too big a goal, and it just seems too scary to do. So when you break it down to just doing one thing each week, one change to your week, one change to your routine, and trying that change for 7 days, all of a sudden it seems doable, it seems achievable. And the beauty of doing it for 7 days is that you will see a difference and notice a difference, and hopefully that the habit will stick. We know that magic 28-day time frame for habits to really change is important, but just start with 7. Can you do any of these changes for 7 days? And then build and build and build. Some you'll like, some you don't, some will be easy, some will be hard. It's a pick and mix of changes, but they will all make a big, big difference to your health. So, as ever for episodes like this, get your pen and paper, scribble it down, listen back to the episode if you need to, send it on to a friend if you want to help them out too, because these are important eps, and we know as a listener that you really enjoy listening to them because it's just debunking health and debunking wellness and just trying to make it fairly straightforward and fairly easy for you to be able to do. So, let's get cracking. The first one is a really simple change, but one that's quite difficult to do. It's getting up 30 minutes earlier in the morning. And why does that improve your health, you're going to ask me? Well, actually, what it will do is it will de-stress your day. It'll give you more time to prepare, to plan, to get ready. Or if, like me, you can do it and just come down and have a cup of tea, a cup of coffee, a glass of water, a glass of juice, and just sit and be still before the day kicks off and the chaos of the day and the madness of the day starts. Because that half an hour will ground you. It will level you. There's something really powerful about sitting on your own, in your house, in your apartment, wherever it may be, and just sitting and being, and not looking at your phone, not listening to music, just sitting and being at ease with what is going to come over the course of the day. You can start to process the day, plan the day, but that 30 minutes just gives you control. It gives you power over the course of what's going to happen. If you have a very busy household or a young family, you'll know how busy the mornings are. So giving yourself this time, it stops the day starting with chaos, because chaos is very difficult to catch if your day starts in that way. So set your alarm clock 30 minutes earlier. That's all I'm asking. And try it. And just come down and have some time for yourself, or even if, lie in bed for that 30 minutes, but be awake, be calm, and start the day as you want to start it. And watch what happens. That sense of calm, that sense of organization, that sense of, it's okay, I'm ready for the day, that will continue over the course of the day. And all on previous times where you might have got out of control or you might have felt a sense of panic about the busyness of it, it all seems doable. It's a big thing, it's a really simple thing, but it will make a massive difference to your overall health. So try it, give it a go, and watch what happens. My second just one change is breathing. We need to breathe more. As people, we generally don't breathe enough. We don't use the capacity of our lungs. So the change is breathe. Just breathe more. Take a deep breath in for 5 seconds. Are you ready? In 3, 2, 1, breathe in. Hold it there for 5 seconds. And breathe out for 5 seconds. 4 and 5. Then try that over the course of the day. Remind yourself to do it. Because by breathing more, it relaxes us, it calms us. We've had Dermot Whelan on several times, James Nestor from the States, all chatting about how important breathing is. But we continuously forget. We have a really shallow breath. We're not getting enough oxygen in, getting rid of the carbon dioxide. And it affects our health and wellness. So by breathing and focusing on breathing in, breathing out, 5 seconds in, hold for 5, release for 5, and just consistently doing that. Try that in the traffic, in your commute, at work. It's a simple health habit that doesn't really take any effort. It doesn't really take any equipment. You can do it anywhere, but it will improve your health. It'll reduce your stress levels, reduce your cortisol levels, help to improve that sense of calm over the course of the day. So just give it a go. You can do it as many times or as few times as you want, but the idea is that we're making you aware of breathing and breathing a little bit more. The next change is quite a nice one. It brings me back to my Leaving Cert when I was doing it a long, long time ago, about taking regular breaks. So breaks are important, and in the work day, or if you're studying or if you're working straight through reduces our productivity. It increases our cortisol levels in terms of our stress levels. It reduces our endorphins. We just feel less well. So the tip here is, from reading content in the last couple of months around it, is that regular breaks are important. Get up, move around, turn off your screens, leave your phone, go and walk for 1, 2, 3, 4 minutes. It doesn't really matter. It's the consistency of those breaks that is important, and breaking up your workday. So every hour, try and move for like 1 minute or even 2 minutes. Movement over the course of that of the day, at the end of every hour, at the start of every hour, will make your day healthier. It will reduce your stress levels, put you in better form. You will work better, concentrate better. Just force yourself to do it. If anything, from COVID, I think we came out of it as a nation of workaholics who work harder and are glued to our screens even more. So take that time, fill it with some form of movement away from your desk, away from work, and again, watch what happens to your work day, to your studying day. You're more productive, you will work better, you will feel better, you will motivate better. Everything becomes a little bit better because you've got a little bit of movement in over the course of the day. Next up is about blue and green zoning. So again, the research suggests that by being surrounded by colour, nature, plants, trees, blue skies, it improves our health. So if you look at the environmental health that you're surrounding yourself with, as you're listening in right now, what are you looking at? If you're in an office building, what do you see? Ideally, you would have plants, trees, a window with blue skies or colour outside. That's the optimum environment for workplace health. And surrounding ourselves with nature makes a big difference. So look at your environment. What are you surrounding yourself with? And make it as natural as possible. Even as part of those breaks, ideally get outside, get some light, look at greens, look at trees, hedging, shrubs, plants, flowers. All of that improves our health and wellness. And that comes back to that environmental change. Look around you. Put a flower on your desk. Put a plant on your desk. Make it green. Make it a nice place to be. And that one simple change will make a difference again to how you feel. And we're looking at wellness in terms of what these changes are going to deliver. They're not just, move more and walk or run or whatever. They're better than that. They're lifestyle wellness changes. And by making those changes, it's simple. So get a flower, get a plant, put it on your desk. The team here in Media House, when we come into the podcast the next day where the guys produce, I want to see a plant there, something natural and something green. It'll put you all in much, much, much better form. Next up is a food one. It's actually around eating more fish. So again, dietitian after dietitian that we talk to, the benefits of eating fish, and we don't eat enough of it for all the omega fatty acids, for protein, and for just general health. We know that we need to increase our fish and reduce our meat consumption. So the one simple change is eat more fish. Get some simple recipes. At least one meal should be based around fish over the course of the week, but ideally two or three. But as people, we're not mad about cooking fish. So by getting more fish into our diet, better for your brain health, better for your overall health, better for your heart health. There's few things that it's not better for. So by reducing particularly your red meat consumption and increasing your fish consumption, and it gets easier in the summer months, I think. Over the course of spring onwards, it's easier to eat fish in your diet. For whatever reason, in the winter, I think it's a little bit more difficult. So that's that simple change. Put some fish in the trolley, cook it at least once a week for yourself, for your friends, for your family, and get more of that oily-based fish into your diet. We know how important it is for every aspect of your health. Every dietitian talks about it. All the research studies suggest it. But yet we still don't really do it. So have a look online, go to some of the websites, get some simple recipes, get some fish into your diet. And again, all we're asking you to do is the 7-day time frame. So put it in over 7 days and watch what happens. So next up is around eating when you want to eat, actually. So this is a simple change because we're kind of conditioned to eat breakfast, snack, lunch, snack, and dinner. That's how we're kind of asked to eat. one of the things around food health and overall wellness and health now is that we intuitively eat. So you kind of eat when you're hungry and eat when you feel hungry. And the recommendation here is try that. So if you're not hungry for breakfast, don't have breakfast. It's not going to magically transform your metabolic profile by skipping it or eating it. But the key thing is that you eat it if you're actually hungry. And if you're not, push your breakfast out to like a brunch. It doesn't have to be breakfast, snack, lunch, snack, dinner if you're not hungry. So try that this week. Learn to honor your hunger and eat when you're hungry, as opposed to having to, to eat at certain meal times just because. And I think that you see that with children more often than not, that they have to have certain meal times and they're just not hungry. Adults are exactly the same. So eat when suits you, not when you think that you have to eat. As ever, you're listening to Real Health with me, Karl Henry, in association with Laya Healthcare. It's a lovely episode today. It's just simple changes and simple swaps to make to improve your health. Next up, we've touched on it before, but I kind of keep coming back to it because all the corporate work that I do, and I go in to talk to companies and meet companies and talk to staff around health and wellness, it comes up time and time again. I'm too busy. I can't fit in exercise into my day. And I say, well, okay, stand more. So the simple change around that one is literally stand. When we sit, the chair does all the work. The chair is in absolutely everything. Your body basically falls asleep, particularly if you slouch back into the chair and being really comfy and you're rocking like I am now. The chair is doing all the work. What we need to get people to do is stand a little bit more. And it doesn't have to be in work, because some people get a little bit self-conscious when they're standing in work because they feel a bit awkward. So stand on the train, stand on the bus, stand at home. Just stand. The more you stand, the healthier you're going to be, the stronger you're going to be, the more muscle mass you're going to have, the more calories you're going to burn on a daily basis. And we know all of those things are important for aging and healthy aging. We can predict your aging health based on your strength levels for your legs, for your lower body, for your upper body, for your balance. And all these things reduce when you sit. And age is never a factor in that. So just stand as much as you possibly can. We have an aging population. One of my big missions and goals now is to help people age better because of the fact that we are not aging well. And you look around, you see people who aren't able to live the lives that they want to because they're simply not strong enough or fit enough to do so. Standing is a simple solution for busy people who are time poor to get more weight-bearing movement into their day. So just stand as much as you possibly can. The more you stand, the healthier you're going to be. The next change is an interesting one. It's a question, actually. And the change is that I want you to ask people around you how they are. Because we don't really ask that question a huge amount. And when you ask it and you mean it, sometimes the answers are fascinating. They're not what you expect. Because the busyness of life, we all just plow on. But actually, when you stop and ask someone, how are you? How's it going? Are you okay? You might be surprised at the answer that comes out of that. And it's a very empowering thing to be able to do. So my ask of you is try that. Particularly with a partner in a relationship, even people that you work with closely. Ask them how they are. Because you might ask them lots of other stuff. Is dinner ready? Is whatever, but we actually don't ask the simple question, which is how are you? How's it going? Because we never ask it. So and why is that important for your health? Well, it's important for everyone's health, but also there is that sense of asking and giving your emotion or your feeling or your time into somebody. That sense of a random act of kindness. Well, that question is the random act of kindness. You're asking people how's it going, and that's important because wellness is multifaceted. So it's a simple thing to be able to do. But very, very, very important. The next change is about learning. For cognitive health and brain health, we know we need to challenge the brain as we get older. So my simple change is try and do something new over the course of the week or over the course of the month. This is a longer term goal, this one. But by doing something new, something challenging. So for example, when was the last time you learned an instrument? When was the last time you did a jigsaw? When was the last time you did something mentally stimulating? Something that you've never done before. Every year from a sports perspective, I try and do something new and immerse myself in it so that A, I learn about it, so I can talk about it from a work perspective, but B, mentally I challenge myself to be able to stimulate my brain to learn something new. Starting the guitar, singing lessons, paddleboarding, it doesn't really matter, but the key thing is that it's something new and mentally challenging. And by doing that, cognitively, we know we can improve your brain health and your brain wellness, which as we get older is, again, really important. So look at something new. Again, a jigsaw is a lovely way to do that, or a board game, or something along those lines. So something new and different and challenging. Because by doing that, we know that you can be healthier, and we know that you can age healthier, which again is really important. The next one change you'll like, or at least I think you're going to like it, and the change is this, and the change is very simple. It's stop. When was the last time you stopped? And by stopping, I mean you stopped maybe working at your desk or working at your job for a couple of minutes, but also you stopped and turned off the phone, or turned down the phone, turned off the laptop, turned off anything that can take your attention away from you and yourself. Because we don't really do that. And it's nice at the start of the day, we talked about it earlier on, but at the end of the day or during the day to just stop and just be and just immerse yourself in the day and think about how the day has gone, and let your kind of body just be itself for a little bit, because we're distracted all the time. And if you watch people, I get the train a lot now because I live in West Cork, and I get the train up to Dublin about once a week. And you watch people on the train, they're never bored. They never truly stop. They might be on the train, but they have their phone with them, so they're scrolling, they're looking at stuff, they're constantly stimulating their brain. But when was the last time you stopped and just looked out the window and appreciated the view from what you're looking at? Without distraction, without something taking away that sense of calmness and serenity from just taking that view in and appreciating it. So the simple change is that. It's forcing yourself just to stop. Look around, watch things, look at things, check in with yourself and see how you're feeling, and see how your body is and how your mind is. It's tough, actually. But we've unlearned the skill of being bored because we're surrounded by things that enable us not to be bored anymore. And my change is this. Allow yourself to sit and be bored for a couple of minutes, and just ground yourself and stop over the course of a busy day, because it's so important. Absolutely so important, and really will make a big difference to how that day feels, to how that day goes, and even that sense of control or being out of control over the course of the day. It helps you to gain back a little bit of control, and it's a lovely thing to be able to do. My next one changes is this one. It's about tackle the thing you really don't want to tackle. We all have something. On a small level, it might be something that at home or whatever that you don't want to do. On a bigger level, it might be a person that you don't want to, or that you kind of know you have to meet but haven't met, or an issue you have to deal with that you don't really want to deal with, but you know that you have to deal with it. When we add those up or stack them up, they become stressors, they become baggage, they become the cross to bear or the burden to bear. And by running from them and consistently running from them, they're always there, but you never really tackle it. The change is about tackling it. Take it on. Meet that person, make that call, do that chore, whatever it is that you really know it's got to be done, but you don't want to do it. Because by putting it off, it becomes a stressor. It impacts your mental health, your physical health, your overall health, because it's just there. And the sense of getting it done is very powerful. It's very simple, but it's done. And the relief that you get from that. We all know that feeling. When you do it, you just feel relieved, you feel empowered, you feel good. So take that on. Try that. Tackle the thing that you really don't want to, whether it's a conversation or a task or whatever it may be. Just tackle it and just get it out of the way and just get it done, because it does make a big, big difference. The next simple change is about protein, about getting more protein into your diet. So we don't need enough protein. It is our way of recovering. It's our way of keeping our bodies strong. Ideally, we need to eat between 1 to 1.5 grams per kilo body weight. So my change is that try and eat more. Get one bit of protein with each meal that you eat, ideally. So chicken breast, fish, eggs, tofu, nuts, seeds, corn. And by doing that, we're healthier, we're stronger, we're leaner. And that's important for our aging health and our overall health as we get older. So it's a simple thing to do, but again, as a population, we generally don't eat enough protein, and it does impact how we get older and how we're going to age over the course of time. Simple swap, simple change, add in more. If you're exercising a lot, that protein intake goes up. Ideally, eat it and then drink it if you have to. Final change is, it's an appreciation change, actually. That I want you just to sit back over the course of this week and just appreciate what you have around you. your partner, your family, your job, if you're more material, your car, your house, your whatever. Just be thankful for what you've got. Because a lot of the time we run and we're on this treadmill of the next thing, the next job, the next car, the next coffee, the next whatever. And we're on that treadmill of just continually looking for more. And sometimes we just don't stop and reflect and say, God, I'm really glad we have this house. I'm really glad we've just got our mortgage. I'm really glad that, I love this car, or I love my job or my colleagues or whatever it may be. But that's that sense of stepping back and looking at it and saying, oh, God, I feel really lucky that I've got this, or I feel really lucky that this person's in my life, or whatever it may be. That appreciation bit is important because, again, it's part of this whole feel-good aspect of wellness. And it's a simple change because we don't do it. We just keep going and tackling and challenging when actually we need to stop. Sit back and say, well, actually, yeah, life is good. I'm really lucky. I've worked hard for it, but I'm really glad that this is around me. I'm really glad I get to do this, or whatever. And as I present the podcast to you and have done for over 5 years, I'm really glad that I worked hard to get it. And I really appreciate the fact that I have a great team around me, and I appreciate the fact that we've got listeners, and lots of listeners, thankfully. And I appreciate the fact that we have our new studio. This is getting very holistic. But I appreciate all of those things. And I think it's important to be able to say that. It's not a very Irish thing. We don't really say stuff like that very often. But actually, if you look at the research that comes through from Europe and from the States, that sense of appreciation is important. And it feels nice just to say it. So try it today. When you go home tonight, make that change. Say it to yourself or say it to the person around you. And just watch what happens. It feels good to be able to say it. Folks, that is it for another episode of Real Health with me, Karl Henry, in association with Laya Healthcare. I really hope you enjoyed it. It's a simple episode with simple changes. Just make one over the course of the next 7 days and see what happens. As ever, you know where we are, at Karl Henry PT on Instagram, realhealth@independent.ie. We'll see you next week for more Real Health. Have a wonderful week. Make that change. Slán go fóill.
Laya Healthcare, looking after you always. Proud sponsors of Real Health with Karl Henry.